Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
It's a very good evening at ZiFM Sport on a Wednesday. We call it Wacky Wednesday here. It's on ZiFM Stereo, my station, your station. In the studio, Mike Madora, Mark Pozzo, Alos Bunjira, Sean Tafirenyika is our producer, and my name is Barry Manandi. What can you look forward to in this edition of the show after signing 12 players this pre-season so far? Ngezi Platinum coach Rodwell Dhlakama says Madamburo are going for the big one this season, the Casalaga Premier Soccer League title. In international sport, Deontay Wilder has said his 2-year-old punches harder than Tyson Fury ahead of Saturday's World Heavyweight title rematch in Las Vegas.
And in around the world in 60, we begin in Spain, where Mercedes made a fast start to 2020 as Valtteri Bottas set the pace on a busy and competitive opening morning of winter testing. In the United States, Brooks Koepka has hit out at Patrick Reed and accused him of cheating at the Hero World Challenge. And in England, they've received a huge blow before their Six Nations match against Ireland on Sunday, with Mako Vunipola ruled out.
We have the beautiful game in the second half of the show, and we camp out in the UEFA Champions League. Defending champions Liverpool must come from behind in their last 16 tie against gritty Atletico Madrid after a 1-0 first leg defeat in the Spanish capital last night. Erling Haaland took his tally to 10 goals in 7 Champions League games as his double helped Borussia Dortmund to a 2-1 victory against PSG in the first leg.
In tonight's action, Tottenham Hotspur host Red Bull Leipzig in the first leg of their last 16 tie, and Atalanta will be looking to mark their first ever appearance in the knockout stages with a win when they take on Valencia. That and so much more to look forward to on this cracker edition of ZiFM Sport.
From Rufaro to Barberfield, Mandava to Nyamunga, all the perfect moments in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League come together on ZiFM Sport.
All right, before we get into our stories, a very good evening to Barbara, Sean Tafirenyika, and the whole ZiFM Sports team. Certainly say good evening to you. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Yeah, hey Bobs, says Pons. Oh my God, Mr. Lover Lover, hey Pons.
Hey, Bobby and Kim.
Mr. Lover Lover. Yeah. Don't sing, Michael. Don't sing. Anyway, let's get into our news. We're talking about Ngezi Platinum stars. Now, after signing 12 players this pre-season so far, Ngezi Platinum coach Rodwell Dhlakama says Madambura are going for the big one this season, the Casalaga Premier Soccer League title. Ngezi also roped in Tekshor Chiragwi as Dhlakama's assistant, and Frank Mukarati remains the team captain. The Mondoro-based side also retained 16 players from last season's squad. Now they're currently in South Africa for their pre-season preps. Let's just go through those players that have gone out. Donald Teguru left, Nielsen Katala, Barnabas Mushunje, and Tatenda Mchisa all going out. But you got to say, Bunj, that it's the signing of the D&D brothers. They're not brothers, but Denver and Devon are probably the most exciting signings of those 12 players signed by Madamburo, Denver Mkamba, and of course Devon Chafa.
Yeah, we can say that, those are seasoned players. We saw Denver Mkamba recovering and resurrecting his career at Chapungu under the same Rodwell Dhlakama. So yeah. Obviously, we can actually say that he knows how to guide him, how to make him, how to bring the best out of him,
manage the demons.
The demons, we can say.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the environment at Chapungu is different, obviously,
from Ngezi.
From Ngezi, we'll have to wait.
Yeah.
and see how he's going to cope, how he's going to perform and all that. But the good signing for me, I agree with you, Devon Chafa. He's a seasoned campaigner. I don't know why if Ngezi Platinum actually released him, because I still believe that they needed a player like him, with all the experience and all that for the Champions League and all that. So I think he is a big signing. We'll wait and see about Denver, but he is a talented footballer. I hope that those demons that you talked about don't affect him. For the big gong, there are a lot of clubs fighting.
The big gong is what I want to talk to you, Mike, about. And if you're going to win the big gong, you need players who know how. Devon Chafa has got, I think, six titles under his belt?
Yeah.
Goodness, that's a player who knows how. And if you want to...
Denver Mkamba's got a few as well.
Denver Mkamba's got himself a few. Rodwell Dhlakama himself is a man who certainly knows how to navigate. He finished a creditable 4th, albeit that he was 9 points behind 3rd place Caps United last season with Ngezi Platinum Stars, having joined them late on in the season. So he's a coach who you can trust. Do you believe?
Yeah, I believe they'll certainly be up there. They've got a good shout for the title this time. Rodwell Dhlakama taking them into the top 4 was a very good job. Ngezi Platinum Stars floundered at the start of the season, and they were struggling under Ero Akpai.
Yeah.
He came in, he first of all steadied the ship, and we initially thought, you know what, is this going to work out? But in the last 10 matches of the season, Ngezi Platinum Stars hit their straps, and they had a very strong finish to the end of the season, where they were able to hold off the challenges of the likes of Black Rhinos, Highlanders, and those teams that had designs on that 4th place. So for me, Rodwell Dhlakama, good coach, as well as the man they've added as well to the technical staff. Take
Chiragwi, big time.
I rate him highly. I mean, the work that he did at Shabani under the most trying of circumstances, working with little or nothing in terms of finance and administrative support. He was able to get those guys playing a good brand of football. Yes, they were relegated. Yes, they were not always able to win matches. But if you took a look at how they were set up and how they played and approached the game, they did very well. You guys have talked about Devon and you've talked about Denver. I'm more excited about the man who's come in from Black Rhinos, Wellington Taderera, because he was one of the best players in the Castle Premier Soccer League last season, rightfully acknowledged as one of the soccer stars of the year. And I'm also excited about Nigel Makumbe, who's coming from ZPC Kariba. He's a player that excites me. So they look like they're going to have a very strong midfield. That midfield of Devon Chafa, Wellington Taderera, Denver Mkamba, Nigel Makumbe. And then you throw in, of course, the likes of Charamba, players who have always
Michael
been there.
Charamba,
Michael Charamba, Tichauna Mavura. They have got an armory as big as any in the Castle Premier Soccer League.
They've got everything to compete, Pos, but you got to say to yourself that at Ngezi Platinum Stars, perhaps with what they've signed, with the coach that they have now, it's got to be that the executive must be patient. They must be able to bite their tongue, even when they see things becoming, if they get a little bit shaky, they should be patient.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They've suddenly now assembled a unit which is going to take time to put together.
Right.
And you're quite right. They need to just be patient. And yes, they might hit a rocky road with 2 or 3 defeats on the bounce. I'm just putting it out there.
I agree.
But you know what? Don't start raising alarm bells. This side, what the players that they've assembled here now, I believe will certainly work out for them in the long run, and they'll be a formidable team come mid-season.
They definitely have a strong side, but when you look at the situation when Barry talks about patience, I think every administrator in the Premier Soccer League has to be patient in this kind of situation that we have, whereby if they sack him after 5 games, who do they get?
Who do they bring exactly?
Who do they bring in? So they have to bite their teeth and hope that their coaches do well in the beginning of the season, so that they don't have any ideas of sacking the coach, because they just don't have options out of it. They have to grind with the one they've got.
Let us know your thoughts on our WhatsApp platform, 0731168045. Madamburo Ngezi Platinum Stars. We've been going through some of the teams in the Premier League over the past few weeks. We've still got a lot of time to go, and we're going to talk, obviously, Chicken Inn and the other protagonists for the title as we go through closer and closer to the big kickoff in the Castle Premier Soccer League. But what are your thoughts of the men from Mondoro Ngezi Platinum Stars? That's 0731168045.
We are your station of choice, the People's Station, ZiFM Stereo.
Right, let's move on with the rest of our local sport. Let's go to swimming, where Zimbabwe's swimming team for the Kana Zone 4 Championships left the country yesterday for Botswana, carrying high hopes to win some medals. The meet gets underway tomorrow in Gaborone. The competition is running until Sunday, with a number of countries taking part. Patrick Duff, who had made it into the 11 to 12 age group, could not travel due to injury. Zimbabwe Swimming Board of Control chairperson Tracy Dorman believes they will have one of the strongest teams at the meet. To rugby, Old Miltonians started their pre-season training at Hartsfield Ground yesterday in preparation for the 2020 Super 6 Rugby League season. OMs will look to redeem themselves after a disappointing run last season at the Super 6 Rugby League, as they failed to make it into the playoffs, finishing 6th in the log standings. The league will see Harare Sports Club, OMs, Old Georgians, Old Hararians, Matabeleland Warriors and Mutari Sports Club battling it out to be crowned champions when the Super 6 League starts in April. And in basketball, Bulawayo Basketball Association Secretary General Francis Dube says their provincial team has prepared well for the Under-23 Basketball Union of Zimbabwe Interprovincial Basketball Tournament in Harare this weekend. The Interprovincial Tournament will also be used as a platform to identify future senior national team players. Dube emphasized the need to invest in development teams to improve the various national sides' performances.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Messages already streaming in on Ngezi Platinum Stars. No doubt you have an opinion on where they stand. Can they mount a challenge for the title this season? They certainly want it under Rodwell Dhlakama. 0731-168-045. That's the WhatsApp number. Twitter, follow and interact with @ZFM Sport. And also a reminder to all our winners in the Nutri-Active Instant Porridge Daily Sports Trivia. We'll be holding the draw for February on Friday next week. There will be 7 winners, so you want to stay locked to ZFM Sport to find out if you are one of the big winners. Now, let's give you some international sports news. Boxing. Deontay Wilder has said his 2-year-old punches harder than Tyson Fury ahead of Saturday's World Heavyweight title rematch in Las Vegas. The unbeaten fighters go head-to-head at the MGM Grand on Saturday after a thrilling draw in their first bout back in December of 2018. Fury, who felt he should have won the first fight, has said he will need a knockout to avoid another controversial decision. But the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder, was bemused by the suggestion Fury could become the first man to knock him out.
He got pillows as fists. You know, that's why I was able to still apply more force and pressure on him than I. You know, we all know that Fury can't punch. It's in, you know, they say women lie, men lie, but numbers don't lie. And you can go back and see, you know, what numbers lies by him, and we can see that my 2-year-old can hit harder than him. I don't believe none of that he's saying. You know, fighters have to have certain strategies and different tactics to approach a fight, you know, and sometimes you want to manipulate the people. I just think he's manipulating people, and I just don't think he's going to unlock the belief part in that. And if he do, it's going to fall into my strategy. It's going to fall into, you know, more of me having the advantage than him, you know, because I am the knockout artist, and I do what I do very, very well.
The bronze bomber speaking ahead of that highly anticipated fight, which is on this weekend in the capital of boxing, Las Vegas, and at the home of boxing, the MGM Grand. He talks of numbers not lying, Barry, and if you take a look at his record, it's 42-0. 1 draw, that draw coming against Tyson Fury, and then of the 42 victories that he's registered, 41 of them are by knockout. This is a knockout master. He's claiming that he's going to knock him out flat out, but we know that Tyson Fury is going to pose a stern challenge.
He does pose a stern challenge on the basis that he's a very awkward fighter. But when we go back to Deontay Wilder, the same can be said for Deontay Wilder, because he's been criticized by many pundits to say that he doesn't have the boxing acumen. But in truth, he just relies on that long jab, looks for the opportunity, and bang. When you walk into one of those, you're done. It's night-night. And so for me, only Berman Stephen has gone the distance, apart from Tyson Fury, of course, and that was a points decision for Deontay Wilder. For me, it's not going that far. This one, Deontay Wilder wants to correct the wrongs of the last fight. He's going to put him down.
Barry claims he's going to put him down, pause. But if you take a look at Tyson Fury, I think when you assess him or when you see him, just on face value, how he looks and how he talks, sometimes you may be guilty of just dismissing him rather rashly. But he's quite an intelligent fighter, and he'll also fancy his chances of winning in that one.
Yeah, he's a little bit like a soldier of fortune. He's got this
Nice.
he's got this ability to see out a fight and prove everybody wrong, that he can still be standing and still be in it. You know, he doesn't give up.
Yeah, sure.
That's the one thing with Tyson Fury.
He's got
he
a
don't
steel
give
jaw,
up.
it's true,
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting bout this. And look. If you said to me, where would I put my money?
Where would you put your money?
Where would I put my money?
Don't sit on the bench.
I would probably say Wilder to win it, but I certainly don't think. I think it will last at least 10 rounds.
At least 10 rounds. That's what Pause is saying. So if you if you fancy a flatter this weekend, you've got the advice. The advice of Barry says, listen, knockout by the 6th.
Yeah.
Pause is saying he's going to last at least 10 rounds. Listen, before we get to hear the thoughts of Alois Munjiro on this one, because Alois is a keen boxing fan. I heard him shout out just now that Tyson Fury was lucky. Well, let's get to hear from the lucky Tyson Fury, who says that he is in good shape for his second fight with Wilder.
All things happen for a reason, and this camp now, this fight, I've had 5 camps back to back. I've had Sefer, Pianetta, Wilder, Wallin, Schwartz. This is my 6th camp in a row. I've never been this active in my whole career, apart from in 2009 when I started my career fighting bums. So now I'm at this championship level, fighting regularly, coming off 6 training camps back to back. No ballooning, no weight up and down, maintained, mentally stable, not doing stupid things. So yeah, it's been a good last few years, I'd say. It's been the best 2 years of my life, of my career, for sure. And I really have took it all in as a professional athlete. For the first time in my life, I can call myself a professional athlete. And when I beat Klitschko in the rematch in the press conference, I said, do not call me an athlete, because I'm not one. And I pulled my shirt up and I showed him my big belly. It was a disgrace to call me an athlete then, but now you can call me a dedicated athlete for the last 2 years.
That is Tyson Fury, the man known as the Gypsy King. He hails from Manchester. He is positively brimming with confidence. He says that he's prepared well and that the last 2 years he's been living his best life, and he comes into this bout on Saturday versus Deontay Wilder in the best shape and form of his career. And he'll need Alois to perhaps put on his best show if he is to beat Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, best show if he is to survive. You know,
to survive, not to win.
Yeah, to survive.
So you think he's not
survive the full round. Because I'm looking at round 5. I think he will be flowed somewhere there, somewhere around.
Around 5. So
like Paul said, soldier of fortune.
You're more or less with Barry, because Barry said 6.
Yeah, we're together, somewhere around there. Somewhere around there. He's a soldier of fortune, and he was fortunate.
Why do you think, though, that he won't last 6? Is it because you think he doesn't have the skill set? What is it?
No, I think when it comes to Wilder, he has got the punch. You know, he looks to have that knockout. And he vetted that. He vetted that in the first round, and I actually thought that in that fight as well, Wilder didn't exert himself. You know, he didn't even really look for that knockout punch. Probably, you know,
he caught him once, did knock him down, but Fury did get up.
Yeah, so I'm sure that this time around he will get him. You definitely get him.
Okay, let's take a look at the tail of the tape between the two. Fury aged 31, Deontay Wilder 34. Their records 42-0 for Deontay Wilder with the 1 draw, and for Tyson Fury equally as impressive, 29-0 with just the 1 draw versus Wilder. And then, of course, if you take a look at height, Tyson Fury taller at 6'9", and Deontay Wilder not much shorter, 6'7". The reach is in favor of Tyson Fury, 85 inches, the Bronze Bomber 83 inches, and they're both orthodox in their stances. And then when it comes to knockouts, Deontay Wilder with an impressive 41 out of 42, and Tyson Fury, not bad, but not as impressive as the Bronze Bomber, 20 out of 29. It's a fight that promises fireworks, and of course we'll be reporting on it after the weekend.
How is it, guys? Elvis Tibola Pomba Moyo, WPF.
This is the bomb.
All Africa heavyweight champion 2-time. You are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
In Spain, Mercedes made a fast start to 2020 as Valtteri Bottas set the pace on a busy and competitive opening morning of winter testing. So often in Barcelona, teams are ironing out issues with their new cars on day one. But today, most drivers hit the ground running with fast times, plenty of laps, and intriguing talking points. Sergio Perez was a surprise leader for Racing Point for much of the morning, while Max Verstappen also enjoyed an impressive start for Red Bull. But it was Valtteri Bottas who topped the timesheets at lunch in his W11. Over to the United States, Brooks Koepka hit out at Patrick Reed in a blunt assessment of the notorious bunker controversy that blighted the Hero World Challenge in December. Reed received a 2-stroke penalty for improving his lie when he moved sand behind his ball with his practice swing during the second round in Bahamas, although he denied accusations of cheating, most notably from President's Cup opponent Cameron Smith. Koepka pulled no punches when he asked about the incident and accused Reed of building sandcastles, while the world number 2 also claimed that cheating in professional golf goes on a little bit more than people think. Will land in England, where England have received a major blow before their Six Nations match against Ireland on Sunday, with Marco Vunipola ruled out after travelling to Tonga for family reasons. It is understood Vunipola flew to the Pacific Island after a relative was taken seriously ill. He has been joined by his brother Billy, who is currently sidelined with a broken arm, with the uncapped Bath prop Beno Obano drafted into Eddie Jones's 33-man squad.
Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say your way.
Operator.
0731168045. That's our number in the studio, and this one comes from you don't give us your name, but you say it's one of the strongest teams in the league, and then you go on to say, hi guys, how about ZPC Kariba wani? So he reckons that we should be talking about.
You say that we're gonna
go through
the teams.
Look, if we get down to ZPC Kariba, great. Although they finished, what was it, 8th last season, so if we get there, we'll get there.
We'll give them a stab.
Yeah,
we'll definitely talk about them.
But I think also the realization is that ZPC Kariba has not done a lot of business.
Yes.
Apart from what's the former Dynamo's a chicken in player. That could be joining them. Pagamani. They've lost Ian Nekati. They've lost Nigel Makumbe. So we're going to get there. But
they lost a lot of players, almost the whole team.
I think what we've done is concentrate on those teams that have actually done quite a bit of business. If you take a look at Caps United, I think has got 20 new players. Dynamos are breathing.
Just behind
down their necks, just behind them. FC Platinum has signed players. I mean, enough players to allow them to send the likes of Lamek Namo apparently on loan. And then you take a look also at Ngezi Platinum Stars. Those have been the movers and shakers on the transfer market.
Yeah, and those are the ones we'll talk about first, because there's a story there to talk about. Kelvin, you don't give us where you're writing us from. He says, I don't think Denver is a good signing for them. Yes, he's a good player, but he's not a disciplined player, and I'm afraid that might affect the other squad members.
Are we not judging him by history? Because there were no reported incidents at Chapungu.
Yeah.
At Chapungu, the only stories we got of Denver Makamba were match-winning performances of Denver influencing things on the field of play.
Scoring
under
goals.
Dhlakama.
Yes.
Scoring goals.
Yes.
Fantastic performances. And that's what we got from Denver. So, yes, we can talk about the stories that we've heard about Denver from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when he was struggling with those demons that Barry mentioned, issues around addiction, issues around depression. And we should actually be celebrating him for overcoming those things and getting his career back on track at an unfashionable side, which, to be honest, 5 years ago, Denver would have told you, I'm too good to play for Chapungu. I'll never go to Gweru. He's bounced back, made the right decisions, and he must be commended for it.
Exactly. I don't know, man. We need to judge Denver by his performances from his previous club, not 5 years ago.
And his behavior now.
Yeah, his behavior now.
Good.
That's what we need to judge him with. We just don't know how he's going to perform. That's why we wait and see if he's going to duplicate the performances he dished out at Chapungu, because he did well at Chapungu. So I don't know why you can say it was bad signing when he actually did well.
If Denver keeps his head in the game, he's on the calendar.
Listen,
I'll tell you what.
Denver Mkamba, it's never been a question of will he be able to cut it.
Yeah.
That's not the question. It's about whether he's able to keep it together between the ears. Because when Denver was at Dynamos, he was a world beater.
Yes.
When Denver joined Caps United, even in those... He did the same thing. He lit it up for Makepekepe. He goes to Chapungu, he's lit it up. So it doesn't matter in which club he's performing or which environment he is in. His talent is undoubted. It's just a question of him being in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
And right now he is.
Over to Bachichi in Kariba. He says, hi guys. Having ambitions before the season starts is good for a football club. Yes, you might have the best players, but if you fail tactically, it'll backfire. So it's all about tactical approach for any game plan. And the tactical approach is in the hands of Rodwell Dhlakama.
The coach. Yeah, of course. It's about the coach.
And you rate him?
Yeah, he is a very good coach. He's a very good tactician. He knows his football. He's very passionate about football. I rate him as one of the best coaches in the countries, and I'm more than happy as well because of his belief in the young players, the youth. He believes in blooding in the youth, mixing it well with the experienced players. So they look like they are going to be a team to beat this season.
And for me, Rodwell Dhlakama has got the advantage of knowing the league. He knows the league very well.
He does, yeah.
And that stands him in good stead. And I did the Ngezi Platinum Stars award ceremony at the end of the year, and he came out very boldly. So the declaration that he wanted to win the league title was not a demand of the executive. He's the one, because he spoke first up actually.
Okay.
He's the one who boldly declared the next season, I am going for the league title.
Yeah.
I cannot tolerate the situation where Ngezi Platinum Stars are bridesmaids in the league. So he made the declaration. For me, I was impressed by that level of confidence. This was before he signed Denver Mkamba.
Yes.
This was before he signed Devon Chafa or Taderera or all those players. He was already saying that my ambitions for next season are to win the title. And these signings now are the executive responding to the ambition of the coach, because if the coach clearly states that his ambition is to win the league, then you've got to give him the players and the material to match his ambitions.
And he's getting them. Margie and Maria in Durban. Good evening to you. He says, I think the Casalaga Premier Soccer League must introduce some kind of regulation, fair play regulations, just like the UEFA fair play regulations. Imagine the gap being created by so-called big clubs, your FC Platinum, Caps United, Ngezi Platinum Stars, Dynamos, going on shopping sprees to the so-called small clubs. It's not fair. And then he goes on to say, why do Caps United need to sign 20 players? As if Caps was not strong enough last season.
You're not forced to sell.
Do you want to hear what these players were signed for free. All of these players were free.
Yeah.
My friend, they just picked them. They didn't buy.
Apart from one or two.
Yeah, there's no richness there. They got them for free. They just picked them. They were just there. So, my friend, don't worry. It wasn't about being rich or what. These players were just picked on the street.
I think the point that he's making is that the big clubs are obviously attractive for players. And they're now grabbing all these free agents, grabbing them and accumulating.
Larry, it's the norm worldwide.
Yes.
Okay? In South Africa, all the big players, everyone who makes a name for themselves in Baroka, in the Limpopo, in KwaZulu-Natal, where do they want to end up? They want to end up in Gauteng playing for Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs.
Right.
It's the same thing in England. Good players want to end up at Manchester City, at Liverpool, at Manchester United.
Sure.
In Spain, they want to end up at Real Madrid or Barcelona. It's the norm worldwide.
The only difference with what Mike has said is that the small clubs that lose these players in these other leagues,
at least they're
they
compensated.
benefit. They actually benefiting because they have their players contracted. Whereas here, these small clubs, they give their players 1 year, 6 months contract, and all these players go for free. So
Can I ask about Caps United? I mean, there's the talk of doing 40 players. They've got 20 already.
40
players?
They won't go for. I think it was an exaggeration for emphasis.
Where are they going to find them?
Exactly.
Where from?
Shall I invest in a pair of boots?
What I wanted to ask, the players going out versus the players who've come in, the ones who come in are a lot more. Is anyone monitoring how they're going to finance the wages for these players?
I don't know what is going to happen, and I don't know what is happening there, because at the end of the day, they need to sign 25. They need to register 25 senior players,
exactly,
and five juniors. So I'm not sure what number they are on at the moment.
They're far beyond that.
So they will eventually have to release players, but it's unfair to bring in a player to your club, then you release him when he doesn't make the 25. So we will wait and see what happens there.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport.
Right, the UEFA Champions League. There were games last night. Now Jurgen Klopp is relishing the Anfield reception that awaits Atletico Madrid ahead of Liverpool's bid to overturn a first leg deficit in the Champions League last 16 tie. Liverpool returned to the scene of last year's 6th European Cup triumph, but suffered just their 3rd defeat of the season at the Wanda Metropolitano as a ferocious reception on and off the pitch, and Saul Niguez's 4th minute strike inspired Atletico to a 1-0 victory. Liverpool host Diego Simeone's side in the return leg in 3 weeks' time, and Reds boss Klopp is hopeful a similar performance from his players, coupled with Anfield's infamous atmosphere, could turn the tie around.
Coming here, having 70% possession is exceptional. Our build-up was outstanding against a high-press team. It was, for me, next level, to be honest. That was the best we did for a long time. Counter-press was exceptional. The intensity of the game we could go was absolutely exactly how it should be. Put the opponent under pressure in the last third. We were not clinical, not clear enough. Let me say that. We had not enough clear-cut chances. That's how it is. We had chances, but not enough. So, but it's normal, I would say. So, and staying in a game like this is for us really is development. So we had games in atmospheres like this where we lost the focus a little bit, and then they could score a second one or whatever. That didn't really look like tonight. And so now it's half time. We are 1-0 down. We would not give up if we have 15 minutes half time, so why should we give up after when we have 3 weeks or how much exactly, I don't know. And even better, the second half will be played in a different stadium, in our stadium, and that will be different as well, and Atletico will feel that, and that's what we are looking forward to.
Atletico will feel Anfield. Now that's an ominous challenge and almost threat that Klopp is throwing out to Atletico Madrid, and we all know that famous atmosphere at Liverpool's home ground Anfield is tough to deal with, Pos, and you got to think to yourself that Atletico have got some game on their hands. It's going to be a tough one in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think you've got to come back with some kind of comment to say you lost the game 1-0 and you need to turn the tie around. So straight away you're going to say, you're going to come to a really tough fixture at Anfield because the crowd are going to get behind Liverpool. So yeah, I think it's an important game. It's a massive game for Liverpool, and I think they can turn it around. Mike?
Anfield?
Yeah, I think so. I think they can turn it around, but they're gonna have to play a very good game to beat Atletico Madrid, especially if the same Atletico Madrid that we saw last night turns up at Anfield. The only thing is I have my doubts about the consistency of Atletico, because judging on league form and judging on how they performed in the group stages, they've shown that they are unable to go consistently, like a run of games, playing very well.
Playing the Simeone way.
Playing the Simeone way. They seem to be conceding goals. They play one good game this week and the next game they're down. They concede goals one week, they don't concede goals the next. So they are no longer the same, vaunted Atletico Madrid defense they had when they had Jimenez and Godin at the heart of their defense. I know Savic is experienced. He's been in that side for several seasons. But I think Liverpool, if they get at them, if Liverpool get an early goal, I think it'll open the game up. It'll force Diego Simeone to push forward a bit more in search of an away goal, and that could make it a very interesting proposition. But I wouldn't panic if I'm a Liverpool fan at this stage. 1-0. If it had been 2-0, then I would have been really concerned.
Bit of a struggle. 1-0, you got to think yourself, Liverpool have every opportunity, but you've got to say that we saw old Atletico Madrid last night. The Diego Simeone way of trying to nick something at the other end and then a complete shutout in defense. Liverpool restricted, not a single shot on target.
Yeah, it was a total defensive performance by Atletico Madrid. They were disciplined enough. They knew that they didn't need to go out and score 3 goals at home. 1-0 for them was enough. And because they know their character, they know that they will have to go to Liverpool and play dirty. And they will play dirty. They will put a defensive block and they will try to play as dirty as they can, slow the game down as much as they can to wear down the clock, so that by the time it's half time, if it's still 0-0, then they can say once they sneak in one, it's going to be very, very difficult for Liverpool. It's a very, very complicated scoreline, especially for Liverpool. It's very delicate because if it goes to half time, if it's still 0-0, it's a big advantage to Atletico, because if they sneak in one, Liverpool will need 3, and that's going to be a very, very big mountain.
Liverpool basically need to win by 2 clear goals.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and if you look at Atletico Madrid, something that we probably missed last night, that they're unbeaten in 13 home games in the Champions League in the knockout stages under Diego Simeone. So,
they just 11 clean sheets as well.
Yeah, exactly. So they just seem to.
They know how.
Their league form has been a little bit topsy-turvy, but they just do it at Champions League time.
At the Wanda Metropolitana, so they've turned it into a bit of a fortress.
Right, teenage record breaker Erling Haaland warned Borussia Dortmund still have it all to do to reach the Champions League quarterfinals, even after his 2 goals sank Neymar's Paris Saint-Germain. Haaland netted either side of a Neymar equalizer as the Brazilian superstar scored on his return from injury as the French champions crashed to a 2-1 defeat at Dortmund in the last 16 first leg tie.
I didn't think too much. I enjoyed the moment, and that's these nights you live for, and it's fantastic. As you say, we let in a goal. We should have kept a 0, but that's how it is. We have to improve, and we'll see what happens in the next Champions League game. Yeah, we have to keep going. I want to reach far in this competition, and work hard and keep going. That I know that I have a lot to improve, and you saw that today, and I have to keep working hard.
Barry, you got to say, well, Paris Saint-Germain, Neymar, Kylian Mbappe. So what? This guy, Haaland, is just unbelievable.
You know what? I wouldn't say that PSG played a bad game, but I think that in truth the Borussia Dortmund, and I sorry to be a bit nostalgic, but Borussia Dortmund used the ball as effectively as we saw them use it when they were under Jurgen Klopp. They when they had the ball, they used it effectively, and now they've got the added advantage of having, dare I say, the new Robert Lewandowski, Erling Haaland. He can tuck it away, this boy.
He can tuck it away. And if you take a look at the players that I support cast, Jadon Sancho, for me, the way he carries the ball in that offensive transition, they could have actually been leading 3-0 at halftime, because they had some really good chances, and they then made poor decisions in and around the 18-yard area. They could have been leading comfortably by halftime, and for me, 2-1 is a scoreline that in many ways flatters PSG, because Dortmund created double the chances that PSG had more of the ball, but when it came to the cut and thrust in terms of the attacking football, BVB knew how to find their way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but with PSG, they were more like, I don't know, they were comfortable with just knocking the ball around. I don't know if they were thinking maybe we will play when they come to Paris. I don't know, because they were comfortable. Even when they were losing 2-1, they were still comfortable just knocking the ball. Some of the players were playing walking soccer, actually. They were just knocking the ball and walk. They were not that...
There wasn't the energy, the drive, the motivation.
I also thought the selection in attack played into the hands of Borussia Dortmund because, when you're up against Mats Hummels, who I believe is still one of the best central defenders and most experienced in Europe, you need to give him a bit more than guys like Angel Di Maria, Neymar, and Mbappe, who are dependent on speed. Because Hummels reads the game very well. But what you need to do is give him a centre back where he has to mark touch tight.
Bang, bang. Yes.
Exactly. Where so them playing without a genuine centre half. Without a Cavani, without the guy who came in from Inter Milan, the centre half. What's the boy from Inter Milan, Sean? The centre half from, who was it, Inter Milan? The troublemaker.
Icardi.
Icardi, yes. Without Icardi.
He was not there as well.
He was not there as well. They should have selected Icardi through the middle. He needed to play because he then gives...
have a striker, have somebody, a genuine number 9.
Absolutely, because when you the likes of Mbappe, you have to play the ball behind the defenders.
And he reads it very well.
He reads it very well, and he'll always mop up. And what did BV do? Respond by doing? They had 3 centre-backs. So all the spaces were covered, behind the midfield.
100%.
Okay, so while we're talking about this now, Neymar has accused PSG of letting him suffer after claiming the French champions were afraid to play him in recent weeks. Neymar, who missed 4 games with a rib injury before the Dortmund defeat, but the 28-year-old said he should have been playing in that time.
Look, every football player wants to play. And I no doubt that...
even when not fit.
Even when not fit. And no doubt that Thomas Tuchel has a very advanced medical team, and the medical team gave him advice to say this boy is not ready. And in truth, wait it out. So I'm not going to listen to him.
ZiFM Stereo is untouchable.
Right, on to tonight's matches. Action, 2 matches just like last night, and Tottenham Hotspur, of course, their 3rd successive appearance in the UEFA Champions League round of 16 brings a first meeting with Red Bull Leipzig, who are making their debut at this stage of the competition. Spurs were runners-up last season and booked their return to the knockout phase by finishing 2nd in Group B behind... Oh my God! That's an interesting one. Leipzig, meanwhile, are in the UEFA Champions League for the 2nd time, and unlike their debut, extended their season's campaign into the knockout rounds as the winners of Group G. Now, Spurs manager Jose Mourinho defended his record when asked if he had anything to prove when he comes up against Red Bull Leipzig head coach Julian Nagelsmann.
Hoffenheim before did very well. Next step, Leipzig doing very well. If he goes in the same direction, the next step will be even bigger. So I wish him obviously the best.
He was obviously linked with the Tottenham job just before Pochettino left. Does that give you any sense of something to prove?
To prove. After 20 years of career and 25 titles, to prove.
Jose Mourinho there speaking, and he is going to be without Heung-min Song, Alois. He's now out for this season, and his options in attack are very limited. He's already without Harry Kane, and that could just even the odds in terms of making this a close encounter with Red Bull Leipzig.
Yeah, for a team that was in the Champions League final last year, they doesn't seem like to be the same spirit. You can actually feel that they don't have it in their arsenal to go all the way to do what they did last season. They won't get to the final, and it's actually said that they don't have some of their best attacking players as well going into this fixture. It just puts a damn cloud, around Tottenham Hotspur, and even the fixture is not as appetizing as it should be if they had all their top players available.
They played Bayern Munich and they were outclassed by Bayern Munich in the group stage, Barry. They finished 2nd, and now they're without 2 of their best players. And then you also take a look at the attacking options. I think they're confined to Lucas Moura, Dele Alli, or Steven Bergwijn. Bergwijn has been a very good signing.
Very good signing, and I think that a player who is fearless, and I like that about him. So for me, I think it makes the front line, yes, you lose something, but I think the players that you just mentioned have got to make the step up. We know Lucas Moura can. He did it last season. Steven Bergwijn, as you said, plays with he plays with abandon, and And if he comes out
he's
like
trying to
that,
make a name for himself.
he's trying to make a name, and if he comes out like that, we potentially have an entertaining game. I'm gonna sort of slightly disagree with Bunch on the basis that Tottenham Hotspur can be very exciting when they play a front three that's dynamic, that's got movement, that wants to go for it. So this could actually be an interesting game.
Pause. I talked about evening the odds with Kane and Son missing, but Red Bull Leipzig have lost two of their best players as well. Haaland has gone off to Borussia Dortmund, and Minamoto is now at Liverpool. And if Spurs can't beat Red Bull Leipzig, they've got no business being in this competition, surely.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a harsh thing to say that, because I think RB Leipzig have done well. They've held their own in the Bundesliga. Yeah, look, I mean, Tottenham should win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get an upset here tonight. I really do. I think Tottenham are missing key players.
What would you term an upset? I actually think this game is evenly balanced,
yes,
and I think that Leipzig, for me, are actually going to it shading it as favourites.
I think
you don't like Spurs. Surely Spurs are the
If you said to me, where am I going with this game? I'll go Leipzig to win this 2-1.
I agree, man.
100.
Wow.
I'm going to agree with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear your
And
predictions.
I like Julian.
We don't have long to wait.
Julian Nagelsmann also because he plays entertaining football. He's
Let's
nearly
have your predictions.
He's top of Bundesliga, near the top.
Paul says 2-1 to Leipzig. You going?
3-1.
3-1 to Leipzig. 3-1.
3-1 Leipzig.
I'm with Mark. 2-1.
2-1
Leipzig.
I am going 2-1 to Tottenham Hotspur.
Because you feel it?
2-1, yeah.
Because you feel it?
2-1. It could be bigger, actually. It could be more. It could be 3-0.
There's another match. Atalanta will be looking. Are you guys done? Atalanta will be looking to mark their first ever experience in the UEFA Champions League knockout stages with a win when they take on Valencia tonight. Atalanta qualify for round of 16 phase in a dramatic fashion after defeating Shakhtar Donetsk in their final Group C game to finish second behind Manchester City. Since that game, Gianpiero Gasparini's side have lost just 3 of their 10 games in all competitions and are unbeaten in their last 5, with their most recent fixture in Serie A ending in a 2-1 win over AS Roma. Atalanta, you don't know what you're getting, but it's entertaining.
We all thought that they'd fluked their appearance in the Champions League last season,
For sure.
but they're actually showing that they're a good side.
Yep.
Listen, they're not going to challenge for the title in Italy. That's a fight between Juve, Lazio and Inter, but they're comfortably in fourth place. Which means that they should qualify for the Champions League, and they should be in it for the third time. So this is their second dance, and for me they're a dangerous side because they've got goals in them. They lack the experience at this stage, and they don't have your marquee players, your big name players. They play as a team, but they'll always be a difficult team to beat. And also this game against Valencia, I think it's too close to call the two sides as to which one is the better side.
Absolutely. So Atalanta and Valencia, the other match tonight. We are out of time. We'll catch you tomorrow. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.